Welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast. I'm your host today. Just kidding, I'm her son, Archer, with the intro.
You guys enjoyed that. It cost me $10, and I'll pay you when we're done with the podcast.
Get out of
Pay
here.
me
Thank
right
you,
now.
son Archer. Thank you, son Archer. Well, as you heard here,
$10.
yes, it was all the money I want to spend. That is Corey's son Archer, and he thinks just like I do, which is, no, I don't want to do that. Oh, for money? Yes, sign me up. So you guys enjoy that $10 intro. I'll pay up when we get out of this.
Archer spoke as fast as you did. I'll say that.
He did it.
He did. Blah, 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 just like you did.
No, it sounds just like me.
He
They're
did.
related.
He did. Well, welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast. I am the mom of the Archer you just heard, and we are your hosts, but we're a spinoff from a group that is on Facebook called the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. We're less than 100 off from 50,000.
It was Corey and I said, let the vendies spendy. So anyways, we've been letting people in. I know there's a massive glitch with Facebook in regards to answering the join request questions. Typically in the past, we've said,
please answer the join. Just to negate spam, unfortunately, when people request to join, it'll give them a prompt, do you want to answer the questions? They'll click on it, but they'll be taken out of the whole thing.
So I know it's not you guys. So we've been trying to get in. Sorry, that was my Coke opening.
We are 4 days removed from our in-person cookie class that we did.
I'll let you know. Did something go wrong? Yes, it did. And let this podcast be the eyes and the ears on the could've, should've, would've.
But I want to say, if we never had tried, we wouldn't have known what worked and what did not work. So I'm proud
Which is the
of
whole
us.
point of this, though. You said you wanted to do it.
I'm
for
just
the
saying,
podcast.
we could have canceled. We could have not taken on. This is just for you guys who are like, I can't teach a cookie class. I could never teach a cookie class. You can.
You can teach an in-person cookie class. So even though I can't find a venue that lets me either use the space for free, this is a very viable hybrid option. Using someone's home, a free space, to teach a cookie class that you don't have to pay for the venue.
We've done a podcast on perfectionism, and perfectionism and having everything perfect is the leading cause for things never to get accomplished.
I was even thinking of this quote. It was from some sermon I heard when we were little kids, but it was, great is the biggest enemy of good.
Yeah.
If I have to be great, then I can't be good because it's not great. And I think in business, it sucks when things don't work out. However, doing the thing is the thing that makes you great.
If you did not have a good Thanksgiving presale or a good Halloween presale, now you have information to make your next one great. If you never did them at all, you wouldn't have that information. A lot of times we have something that doesn't go perfectly well. Something goes wrong, typically, like Heather's thing that she did wrong.
I'll be confessing to it soon.
And we say, that's it. I give up. Not for me. It didn't go well. But we never try to build on the fact of things that went semi-good, that didn't go totally bad, or learn from the totally bad. And we just give up before we ever become great at something. So this podcast is all about that in-home cookie decorating class. So you were saying, was it in one of your chooses home? No, it was not one of our chooses home. I'll give you the backstory.
There's a really way. One of your chooses
home. Is that a word?
One
Chooses?
of your homes, plural. Make the homes plural.
Oh, I like that. One of your all's homes.
Y'all's
I like to
homes.
throw in a little word there. Chooses,
y'all's
alls.
homes. So just to recap what we talked about in part one, this was, and it was funny because Corey actually asked where the lead came from. This was a lead from a referral of a client you had last year.
What was so funny is Mary, the lady who put on this class, had actually reached out to me mid-summer when I was going through that cancer surgery, and she wanted to have a custom order done. I was busy, so I actually gave her a list of
Busy trying to live.
Busy trying to live. I actually gave her a list of other bakers, and I think she actually went with one of those other bakers.
Right.
That would have been a loss of a lead for me because I had turned her away when she was looking. But unfortunately, the other person who had baked the cookies for her did not teach cookie classes. So Mary came back into my fold.
So you can kind of see that consistent marketing over time. So again, Corey had baked for these, it turns out the group was gathering, they were teachers.
Yes.
Corey had baked for one of the other teachers a while ago, word of mouth. I actually think that teacher may have brought them to the school and given them to the other teachers. This teacher, Mary, reaches out for a custom set. Corey is busy, refers her out. She hires another baker, however, wants to do a private in-home class. Sees that Corey is cross-promoting her private classes in between her custom sets.
Yeah.
And then Mary says, can I schedule a private class? Now, here's the thing. We don't teach private classes for the reasons we'll talk about in this podcast. However, if this would be just a great business model. I'm just difficult.
Yes, you are.
I like extreme control.
And I want to say that is, Heather does like extreme control. She likes to be able to go into the place to set up, to have the knowledge that no one's going to dictate anything. We know what we're walking into when we do our cookie classes at the venue that we currently have. And I want to say it does play a factor, having that control.
If we didn't have access to this, my type A personality guaranteed spot that lets us, use the whole space on Saturdays, I would definitely learn how to be more easy breezy and roll with the punches. However, what I bring to the class would look a lot different. And we'll talk about that because we aren't outfitted for versatility in terms of space. That's what I think. If you got into this, you would have the tools needed. We didn't have them.
Yeah. I would say say you didn't have a good venue and you had the choice to do classes in people's homes or a class in your own home, you could take back some of the control by hosting it in your own house.
That requires a lot more changes in your end. You have kids. Do you have the large enough couch space?
I know. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you were like in people's homes, I couldn't do. Venue, I can't do. In your house, you could do.
Definitely an option. So when you say, I have no options, consider this. A lot of bakers do teach out of their own houses.
Yeah.
And then a handful of bakers will do these private classes in people's houses.
Yes.
All of them are great money. Again, teaching classes is the highest margin item a cookier can offer.
Absolutely. I tell you, last week I had to decorate, I want to say 8 dozen cookies. The time that took versus the time of prep included, and teaching the class.
Reduced massively.
Massively.
And the charging, I charge over your price per dozen per these classes.
Per ticket.
And then we had no venue fee. So, okay, back to the lead acquisition. It was a referral from a past client. Corrie was consistent on social media, was able to reacquire the lead for this aspect.
Yeah.
As we're there, Mary also says, I will be ordering customs from you. So Corrie's able to reacquire even the customs lead.
And that's fantastic. Go me. That was a great opportunity for me.
Okay. So the things we can take from there is consistency and consistent promotion across all offerings. When you only post about customs, you lose class tickets. If you only post about classes, you lose customs. So hit both of the buckets.
Yeah. I think a lot of cookiers love their own aesthetic. Mm-hmm. In their feeds. And sometimes when you sign up for the cookie class kits or other kit memberships out there, it takes away from your vibes. But unfortunately, if people don't know you teach classes, they won't come to your classes. So sacrifice. No one's checking your feed. I'm a promise. That's just you.
If ever,
check.
Go to someone's feed and be like, that aesthetic.
Right. We're doing that. It's more of our own ego tied into it. So don't say to yourself, well, if I post this, it takes it from me. You can always archive something after.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, consistency of posting across all social media channels. This one happened to be Instagram.
Yeah.
And then having the opportunity. So again, Corrie posted about public classes and Mary inferred private class.
Yes.
It would typically be a no. I typically reject those and send them to other leads. That's why it's great to have other bakers in your back pocket. However, for you guys, we did it. Okay. We did it. Now we have Mary here. She's interested. Corrie lays out the parameters. Now we offer the Cookie Class Kits membership. Somebody asked, do you guys teach those yourselves? Yes. Why reinvent the wheel? That's our best we can come out with. I don't think we could do better.
Think my brain can do much more. That you're getting A team Corrie right there.
So since we have created classes, Corrie has the cutters for all those classes. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of reusing what you got.
Yeah.
But because we've been teaching these classes for 3 years, I create a collage of the classes.
Yeah.
And that is my fault. My water bottle.
And Heather is saying those words.
Spank into me.
Deduct
another $10 off my account.
I'll take the $10.
So we had given her this graphic, collage,
and
right?
it's a huge collage because it's every cookie class kit that we've taught.
And we said you can pick something from this. Mm-hmm. Now, what I like is we didn't leave, and whatever you can design your own set. Nothing had to be recreated here, so there's no time cost of teaching a class, since technically I bought the cookie class kit, so I could just teach what we did. You guys don't know what the cookie class kits are. It's everything you need to teach a cookie class. So the PowerPoint, the promotional photos, which you didn't need to use.
Yeah.
The staged imagery, and the copy.
I guess we did use them with the collage, though. It was a fantastic collage.
The collage we used, and I did use the Eventbrite copy and listing to create the private event. Okay, so she picked the one she wanted. She actually picked our first year Thanksgiving class. So it was a 2023 Thanksgiving class. And then we offered her 2 options. She could pay up front in one lump sum. Nobody's going to take that option because she's out anybody who doesn't show up.
Yeah.
We take a riskier option to secure the lead here because mostly I wanted to test it for you guys. We give her a private Eventbrite class listing, which means, yes, there's fees, which I could have either passed on to them or absorbed myself. I absorbed them myself, but I put a limit. She had to have 10 tickets sold by a date that was 2 weeks out from the event.
Yeah.
Okay. We talked about this in the last one. And then we started emailing her. I think it started bi-weekly about a month and a half ago, telling her who was on the list. Now,
I want to say one benefit to doing the Eventbrite thing. So you're like, oh, you took a hit with everyone who signed up through Eventbrite. Here's the thing. Every person there is a viable option for either custom orders or repeat class attendees. If Mary would have paid the lump sum, we've only have Mary's email. It'd only been easy for us to remarket to just Mary. Them signing up individually, I will say.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We have everyone's email. I could have actually upsold more of them. I could have done that. This wasn't our goal in this one, but
we can in the future. And they love the class. So one, our warmest lead is someone who's already taken the class. We could.
And Corrie could get customs, which a lot of them said I'll be placing custom orders. You know, I always take that number and divide it in half.
Yeah.
It's more of a reality. But I do have all their email addresses. However, I lost money on processing fees because any processing is going to do that outside of bank transfer.
Yeah.
And I lost money on Eventbrite fees. So if Corrie gets one order, if they come to one class, I've made that back, but that's my risk. So I did take the front end loss in exchange for all of their email addresses.
With Eventbrite, you can do what we call take home kits. So you can actually bring a kit home from class. So all the knowledge you just learned, you can actually practice again. We wanted to see in this in-home private class, would people buy these DIY kits? Unfortunately, only Mary, the host, bought the kit, but good to know. So if we wanted to not do Eventbrite next time, we know the pluses and minuses. Not a lot of people wanted the take-home kit. They were there more for this chilly night,
right?
Chilly
and
girls'
I
night.
devastated to report I didn't get a bowl of chili. And I'll explain why in a minute. Devastating though.
It smelled delicious.
It smelled delicious. Yeah. People ask this. I'm just going to tell you, we live in an extremely high cost of living area. Probably not what California prices, but it is Washington, D.C. prices. So you got a lot of big incomes. This was a sizable house here. So I knew that there was some money to be had, but we did not adjust the price per ticket. So we do $85. It was $85 for this.
Like we talked on the last podcast, if we were new to classes, it might behoove us to discount these because one, we don't have to market. The class kits was already made, so we're not remaking anything. The venue is free. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I've never taught classes, you don't necessarily have to come into a high price because you're saving money in other aspects. Me and Heather knew, because we've taught classes for years, that if we hosted our own Thanksgiving class, we would have sold out.
And maybe just a little bit. If I know you and me, we wanted to make it a little bit cancelable so that we could get out of it.
Okay.
Because Corrie and I said, if we don't bend any rules here, the odds of her canceling could be high, and that would be just a fine answer. But podcast reigns supreme. So, of course, Mary had a lot of friends, and she was able to sell out. I'm going to tell you, our price per ticket, $85. The average price per ticket in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group last year was $50. So don't think if you're not at $85, we just live in a high cost of living area. And
there's two of us teaching.
There's two of us teaching, right? So 50 is the average there. If you came in at 40 to secure the lead, I wouldn't be mad as long as your costs are covered. It's always a math problem.
Our competitor down the road with a brick and mortar, $105 a ticket. Okay. So you see,
they keep me on my toes.
Yeah.
They show you where you can get up to that if you want to. Okay, so we secure the lead. I'm emailing Mary. She's selling out at just a predictable rate. We said about a month ago she was definitely going to make it. So then I could tell by the way Mary emailed that she is a little all over the map, like a fun vibe, but it's hard to secure it down.
One thing that Mary kept doing, Heather actually took over and said, Mary, from this point forward, we will just be emailing. Because Mary did come in as a lead from Instagram, but we need to keep the conversation together and organized. Unfortunately, Mary kept...
But Corrie would redirect. Remember, Mary's talking to Mixing Bowl, but she's emailing Sugar Cookie Classes. They're two different people in two different avenues. I hate trying to chase down communication, especially I don't log on to Mixing Bowl, so
there's two of us. So Heather's like, did Mary say this to you? It was my
Corrie
job.
Constantly redirected. Hey, Mary, thank you so much. I'm going to follow up with you via email. So again, I prefer, and if you guys want a tip here, is always keep people in your inbox. Within the inbox, you can see the chain. You can keep things in a chain. Love that. Nothing expires. Love that.
What we don't want Mary to say is, oh, I missed the message on Instagram, because we were talking through two avenues. We want Mary to always be directed to one. And the easiest one that has a nice chain, nothing can be deleted, which Instagram you can delete messages now, is your inbox.
And the inbox, typically the way it ends up in primary versus the other ones on Instagram has little categories. Okay. So that's what I would say is keep it on email.
Yeah.
And even if they reach out, which happened a lot, we get that now. The caveat here is Mary did not read my emails all the way through. She would only reply to certain information. I said, well, that'd be an interesting test here. It took me quite a bit of time to get her to send me a photo of the space.
It did.
Now,
it was almost like a few days beforehand.
The photo of the space showed what the problems were going to be.
Yeah.
She had a lot of stuff in her house. There was no clean, flat surfaces. So having a TV already out.
Yeah.
Which leads to the technical problems.
She had a dining room table that fit exactly 10 people. And if you're familiar with dining room tables, this wasn't a new age
carpet.
This is a vintagey. So you had chairs with big arms on them.
Heavy wood furniture.
And so there was exactly 10 students and there was exactly 10 chairs. And they looked like to be no space around them.
Now we have 2 instructors and they need a place to set up. That was the issue. I told Corrie, I think we'll need to bring actually the little folding table that she's sitting at now. Great call. I couldn't have imagined what it would have been like otherwise.
At the end of the day, I didn't even need to be decorating.
I needed a touch point. I said to put something down.
Okay, yes, you're right. You're right.
We had our little presentation at the beginning. So we did bring a small folding table. Now, I did bring the IPVO camera, which worked miraculously perfectly at my house.
If you've never heard of what Heather just said, an IPVO camera, they use them at CookieCon a lot.
That's
and it's where the class instructors will actually decorate under this camera, and the camera will actually be projected either on a screen or on a projector, something like that.
Old school projectors, those big things with the big bulb.
Yes.
This is a replacement. This is a digital documents camera.
And
it was perfect here, but the minute we get there, it suddenly doesn't want to play nice. And I'm not sure if it's a Wi-Fi thing. Typically, I can fix technical problems, except for I didn't realize they were going to eat chili over my shoulder.
Because here's another thing. Heather, in control, likes a control A personality. We had no control of where these people were. Me and Heather, if we go fist fighting together because the IPVO camera isn't working, we can't do it now. People are literally standing next to us. We did not know that the dining room table was the only table she had.
They were actually watching us set up. So Corrie and I prefer to not show how the sausage is made. It's like not cute to watch a cookie class get set up. It's very cute when you walk in and it's ready to go. So that was the factor that I said, oh, I wish that was different.
And here's the way that Mary set it up. Hey, you guys can get there however, and you can set up. We'll be eating chili. Me and Heather understood that as we'll be eating chili somewhere else. No, they were eating chili with us.
They were eating chili and watching us as the
people were sitting on the floor watching us go around this table.
So I'll tell you this, the class was to be taught from 6:30 to 8, which is kind of late. So we said, can we get there at 5:30? So remember, we built in an hour of setup time to fix these problems.
In our brains, we thought we'd be there before other people. No, everyone arrived at 5:30.
In which Mary had mentioned that, perfect, because everyone will be getting there at the same time. Other aspects I wish I had more control over, obviously, but I kind of predicted. I pulled up the Google Street View. It was down a pipe stem. If you're not familiar with a pipe stem, they're very common here in Virginia. You'll have the road, the neighborhood road. Then it'll look like a driveway, but that driveway spreads into 5 other houses that share a shared driveway.
Yeah.
It makes parking extremely limited.
Because Mary had 9 other guests there, plus me and Heather. That's 9 other vehicles.
Yes.
Plus me and Heather's.
Remember, I'm carrying a lot of stuff.
We have so much stuff to carry that Heather blocking the pipe stem makes Mary look bad.
To her neighbors. It was a single direction pipe stem. So
but we also didn't want Heather blocked in by the members of the class.
I wanted a quick escape. More on that later. So what I wished is that I could have maybe told Mary, she wasn't kind of factoring in what was going on, and nor should she have to, that we could have had access to a reserve parking spot or something because we needed to carry.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. What we ended up doing is putting the hazards on, unloading the car, and then moving it after we put it in there.
Yeah. Lots of movement.
I couldn't imagine this being taught by a single individual. It would have extended so much more setup time. So while I'm moving the car, while I'm setting up the computer, Corrie's setting up the car.
Yeah.
Okay. I would partner with somebody for a private class. Granted, you're going to have your profits, but
bring a spouse, bring a child, to help you set up.
Maybe some of you pay hourly would have been nice, at least just for the setup.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we go and set up the class. Corey's setting up. The IPVO document camera doesn't work. In hindsight, it didn't really matter anyways. There was such a tight radius. The average age was between somebody that was younger than me and someone that was older than my grandmother. So there was no predictability on mobility or access there. There was a lot of steps, and it was impossible for them to turn their chairs around.
It would be impossible because we said the chairs are these giant vintagey hardwood chairs.
Right. So Corrie printed off a playlist, which is a single sheet PDF of each step of the class.
So it's a condensed PowerPoint. The playlists are pulled from the PowerPoint. It's something that's available in the college.
And remember, we did not have a TV and we had no access to TV. Typically, I have the PowerPoint displayed on a TV that Corrie brings.
Okay, I want to say there was 4 ideas of how these people could access the class. Typically, we bring a TV and the PowerPoint's on that TV. We actually have me decorate in class. We have this cookie class playlist. And we have these 3D floating cases where I pre-make the cookies.
So we already knew we were definitely not getting the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
We thought we'd have Corrie decorate, but remember, my document camera does not work. I couldn't imagine, though, how it would have worked anyway. So it wasn't a huge loss.
But it's good that we didn't put all our eggs in that basket.
Right. So we had the playlist. Again, I could always email them the PowerPoint, which I did have loaded onto the computer. And on the computer itself, I told Corrie, I thought this might happen. I've loaded the PowerPoint onto the computer.
Which is great. And we had the 3D floating cases where I pre-made the cookies. So it's actually physically the cookies, but in these cookie stands.
So it turns out Corrie decorating was pointless.
Pointless.
Turns out the TV, pointless. So those things we end up relying on too. I like that we built in 4.
The Pivo camera, pointless. The cookie class playlist, why everyone had one, no one referenced it.
No, I don't know why. We've tried the playlist a couple times. I love the idea. It's perfect for DIY kids.
What's so funny is the last class that me and Heather hosted ourselves, a class before, we had somebody there that actually came to the next class. She liked the little playlist thing because she sat in the back of the class the last time. When she came to the class, this was just a couple weeks ago, for the Halloween class, she's like, oh, where's the little playlist thing? And she didn't get it, so she actually sat next to me this time.
Interesting. It's interesting because I could tell the frustration on their faces is they couldn't see what Corrie was doing, that there was no other option. If one person hadn't showed up, Corrie could have set up at that table. Everyone showed up.
During the piping practice part, which was a great part. I love the piping practice. It really gets them involved and allows me to showcase my teacher thing. What the piping practice is just this segment of class where we actually have them be able to handle the piping bag before they're actually diving into their cookies. So if they need to mess up on anything, mess up on the piping practice sheet. At the end of the day, people come back to classes that they feel successful in. So setting them up for success is going through this piping practice sheet. It also allows me to showcase my ability to teach. So when someone comes in, hey, do you see how you have more icing at the start and the end of the line? Let me just tell you what's happening there. So I can go individually to each person.
And I've talked about this. This is just a PDF single sheet paper that actually had laminated. In the cookie class kits, we designed one for each class. Me, lazy, already paid money. So we just take this one I've used for over 5 years.
The great part about it is we didn't want to leave that part out, but you have to understand there was no space for me to showcase this lady, Beth, love her to death. She actually had her chair slightly cockeyed enough where I said, Beth, you mind if I squeeze in there so I can show people?
Yes.
Beth was fine with it, even though she had to keep moving her piping practice sheet, but she was in it to win it and she wanted to see what it was supposed to look like. Granted, you might have people who are not receptive to moving and you need a plan for that ahead of time. It's honestly, we couldn't because the chairs wouldn't move.
There was no options.
Yeah.
So it was like in the best woulda, coulda, shoulda, this is what we would have done. In reality, it was exceptionally limited.
Yeah.
So what I had Corrie do is I had her decorate at one end of the table. I could see the frustration on the face of the other side. I said, don't worry, guys. I'm going to have her come over to that. And then I'm a yapper. We don't want any dead air. So I just keep narrating what I just said to kind of make it feel. Oh, I'm at it.
With people at these chairs. So with the chairs pushed in, I could walk around fully the whole extent of the table. With people in the chairs, I actually had to leave the room, go around this divider and come to the other end of the class because it wasn't accessible with someone sitting in the chairs. So Heather would be like, can you go help them? I'd be running across their home.
And I tried to think I was reading their facial expressions when the frustration was there.
But I want to say, if you're the only person teaching this class, you'll be taking yourself out of the element because you'll be running around.
It would be hard. And you guys who do it, props to you.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it would be hard. We did the same intro we always do. So the class is an hour and a half, but 30 minutes or maybe 20 minutes of that is talking about the class and how sugar cookies and, royal icing. And then we go to the pipe and practice sheet, which takes about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we do decorating. So I'm able to fill up an hour and a half. It typically always goes over, and this one did as well.
Yeah.
In the script that we include with the Cookie College, but it's also the same one I still use. I go around the room and ask for people to introduce themselves and give their background with cookies. they already knew themselves. So they did not include their names. However, I was writing down their names. So I did go back and ask them for that. Interesting change there.
When we do a cookie class in our own venue, people don't know each other sitting across the way. So they'll be like, my name's
They're more
Corrie.
apt to introduce themselves.
I'm from Woodbridge and I don't really know how to decorate cookies, but I love eating them. This one, these ladies knew each other, giggling right and left when they were like, oh my goodness, Stacy loves to eat my cookies. We don't know who Stacy is. They know who Stacy is. So that section actually took a little bit longer.
Yeah, I wonder if I could have done that a little differently.
We'll have to reconvene on that one.
The consensus there, though, is a couple people were baking cakes and then one person had sugar cookie experience. So it helps me understand what the pain point is and the experience level. I really do like that question. I'll never get rid of it.
Yeah. What we do in our cookie classes, it actually helps us. I'm here to learn how to decorate better. Okay, I'm going to give them a little bit more feedback because they're here to learn it. Someone who's, I'm just having fun.
Perfect. Then I'm going to make sure they have fun.
Yes.
Right. So I really do like that question a lot. It definitely changes how Corrie engages with those types of people. Somebody I'll say, does anyone here want to learn how to sell these? Like, does anyone say, I want to make this my new money hustle?
Yeah. I think in our personal classes, that question gets more feedback. These are just friends.
For fun. Yeah. So it changed a little bit there. So we start in the class, we talk about, kind of go through this PowerPoint. It's all scripted. I'm holding the laptop towards them. They cannot see a word that's on
They
it.
can't. And unfortunately, sometimes I rely on seeing the...
I could tell Corrie could not see the laptop either, so she didn't know what the next step was. And I think you can pick up when I was like, we're going to go back here real quick.
Yeah. And because we've taught classes so much, I knew what the natural next feel was, but it was hard to not see it.
I mean, because Corrie and I have worked together so often, I can kind of tell where she was, where she wanted to be. Yeah. So we got that. We got through that. The piping practice sheet, highly encourage that one. Yeah. It is. I like to be able to have Corrie and myself come around and be like, hey, you see this? This is why this is happening. I like them to be frustrated before they're trying to show off.
And I also think it adds value. So the people are like, I'm learning something.
Yeah. So we have them not actually do the whole sheet. We have them do various ones. And then it kind of helps them understand what outlining is. And then the final step, we have them outline and flood a square that's on the sheet. And then Corrie comes around, gathers it. You might say that's really messy. It is. Actually, they glue themselves together and I put them in a tote to wash at home later.
But because here's the thing. We have them so they're laminated, so they've lasted us 5 years. Some people just print out pieces of paper, trash them at the end.
Absolutely.
Up to you.
Probably a better cleanup solution. I don't know why.
We don't like buying printer cartridges.
Oh, I hate printers.
So that would be why.
So that makes sense. So what we did is we jumped into the decorating portion. We'd already kind of done the eyebrow raise that the IPVO document camera wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And I was going to kind of let the class dictate how they wanted. I could see they wanted to look at that laptop, but thank goodness Corrie had these. One of the vendies is actually selling them.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, I put up their website.
No way.
Yeah, so these little
they're
plastic...
called 3D floating cases. They're sold on Amazon and everywhere. I bought mine from the Flowered Box shop.
Yeah, and all you do is you decorate a cookie, let it dry, let it crust over, and then you put the finished cookie in this kind of plastic wrap, and it's displayed vertically.
It has to be fully dry, not just crusted over. Otherwise, it will squish.
Yeah, so the problem with these is they get kind of messy if you keep replacing them. However, they're fine, right?
It just made it a smudgier. It looked like a dirty look.
Not my favorite, but maybe if you could figure out how to replace it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure. They were cheap enough. I think you could do it. Anyways,
yeah.
Lessons learned. It was meant more for vendors at a farmer's market.
What it's actually meant for was a way to showcase your cookie for eternity. So you really loved one cookie you made. You'll never take it out of this little sleeve. But me and Heather, I'm not tied to saving any of my cookies. I was like, yeah, this would be great for class. We'll take them out each time. Unfortunately, there's the remnants of the cookie before.
Right. Looks a little dirty. However, I haven't heard anyone say anything about it. I almost kind of reference it so they know that we replaced cookies or whatever. That disgusting little thing we're going to. But what that did, I was able to pass the cookie around. Granted, it's a finished cookie and we're very far from that stage, but they really did like it.
Since I'm not decorating in front of them, it didn't work. I decorated behind them. No one could see. We didn't have the TV. The IPVO camera, it's also not accessible. It was our number one way to show them the next steps.
In hindsight, Corrie and I are looking at the venue and Corey's like, I bet I could have put the TV right there. It would have been. You have to worry about power, because we need to plug
for sure. And when Mary took the photo, obviously she didn't take a power source.
She took it of the surface of the table,
the table top.
And she was very concerned about the safety of the table. But we had brought our trays, so she was
and parchment paper, so she didn't even need to worry. But she had covered it with this. Little cloth or something.
So we go through the class. I can tell the things that are different is they're actually drinking wine.
Yeah.
Like this. That was a part of their chili cook-off, not a part of us.
So I want to say because the wine glasses are so open,
They took up a lot of space.
It took up a lot of space, but also if someone's wine glass and this didn't happen, were to fall over on the person next to them. So say if you're hosting in-person classes in your own home and these people don't know each other, but you allow opened drinks, you do run the risk where someone could knock over a drink and ruin the event for the next person next to them.
Let me ask you this, and I didn't ask you the day of. Having seen how constricted we were with space, would you have not used the trays and rather just the parchment sheets?
The one thing I like about the trays is it gave everyone a dedicated space.
We do like that, but you saw there was no space.
Yeah, but they had enough space in front of them. Some of the messier people to decorate, she needed like 52 yards of space because she was falling over herself. Yeah. But I think most people did a pretty good job. And they still had space in front of them. It's almost like when they put their step that they finished back on the tray, it's safe.
Yes.
But versus when it's just there, they're nicking it, touching it, everything like that.
Okay. The wine did cause a little. I was constantly moving Anne's wine out of her elbow.
Yeah.
For fear I didn't want to spill it.
Absolutely.
Not my event, but okay. Something to keep in mind.
Didn't have control of. And this is something you'd have to keep in mind if you're doing these classes at someone else's home. Mid-step, mid-cookie decorating step, Mary says, "Who's hungry?" Okay, our class is designed to be an hour and a half because any more time we'll start losing money. Mary gets up and serves dessert in the middle of class. It has now added an additional.
It really caused a lot of chaos.
Minutes.
I have a very high-pitched voice. However, it doesn't carry at all. Mm-mm. So I got the worst of two sides. And I'm also the primary speaker in these.
When Heather's voice did not carry, and I'm like, there ain't no way, nobody in this.
I would just Corrie, and I say, "What have you done?" So at one point I said, "Use your deep voice."
And we're getting back to class.
We have alcohol, so we've got people that are escalating have a good time, right?
Louder,
but they're talking louder and louder. Yeah. We have the friendships, which allow them to say things that I wouldn't have seen in a typical class.
Absolutely,
because you're like, I got to respect these other people's money. These people are like, we're friends. I'm going to talk loud. And then we got Mary, who's like, I'm going to interrupt this. At any point, Ed, I almost felt like she wasn't happy with the results of her cookies. She would create a distraction. Yes. Makes a ton of sense. So those are factors to keep in mind.
Because you don't control over that. I can't say, Mary, take a seat. We're doing class. That wasn't appropriate at the time. It added 10 minutes onto class and created a ton of crumbs. Let me tell you, she had an oatmeal cookie there.
Ate a lot of the space we needed.
It took a ton of the space. So one girl who really wanted her cookies to look good had these crumbs falling into her cookies that she was having to dig out. That's something we don't serve food at our classes.
Unpredictability. Just again, it was for the pod. So it was interesting to try to overcome that distraction. At one point, Mary's husband comes out from work and she wants to get up and serve him food. He actually says no.
Yeah, he says no, but she would have left.
And that would have
And then the class would have now had to cater to her because she'd been so behind.
So that was very interesting. I didn't predict that. I didn't predict the dessert and I didn't predict the wine. I don't know why I didn't predict the wine.
I don't know. You never know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So making it through class when people were upset because they were friends, they were very vocal about it. Because you can be. Those are your friends. This isn't a private.
Oh, yeah. But you can say they're so relaxed.
Yes.
We love that. But now they're loud, talking over. Heather can't be heard. So I'm having to use my big girl mom voice.
I know some people get those little speakers that they put in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Maybe not the worst idea. I thought it would be a little quieter. However, there was no... Usually we put through the TV Corrie Spotify playlist. I did have it piped through the computer to kind of add some kind of level of ambiance.
Unfortunately, through a computer, it sounds like it's in a tube. Yeah, so it would have been nice to have like the Google Home there. Granted, obviously, internet access was a big issue. So having at least something playing added to the vibe of the whole experience. If it was silent, I'd been,
it would have gotten silent at some point.
Yeah.
So then we teach the class, but constantly people are interrupting to just talk about their lives with each other.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
One thing I loved that Heather did to lock people back in, she's like, you guys will never guess. You only have 10 minutes left of class. So these people who are chit-chattering, not focused on the next step, now locked in because me and Heather will be leaving in 10 minutes.
Yeah, which let me rest assured we did not, but I tried.
But
unfortunately, you can't turn off the lights in somebody else's house.
Yeah, giving that update allowed people to lock back into the class, focus in, because now it's coming to a close.
I don't know if I had been more strict with Mary in the correspondence, if she would have gotten what that meant.
I don't believe so.
I think she was like, they'll leave when we're done.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. You have to think. You have to price your class out for instances like this because it's out of your control. When me and Heather are in our own classes in the venue, Heather will be like, I'm turning the lights off, lady. Heather will physically turn a light off.
My favorite thing to say is, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah.
I should probably start playing that song. Like, It's called closing time. They used to play it in clubs.
Yeah. So I want to say that was out of our control. So Mary wanted everyone to stay there for an additional 2 hours. She was having the grandest old time. At the end of the day, we have priced the class for an hour and a half.
The one thing I didn't have forethought for was cleanup, because Corrie and I just will take all the trash, the soiled, parchment paper, just ball it up and throw it away. It makes for quick getaways.
Also, I just want to add, in our classes, in our venues, I bring a little bag where they can take their icing home. Nobody took their icing home because they weren't trying to do this later. They were just doing it for a bonding
which
experience.
changed it a little bit, because in the class, that's a value-added thing. And this one, it was an impedance.
Because now the icing, heavy. There was extra icing. Everyone left it behind. So what's funny is...
No one wanted our business card either.
No one wanted the business card. Good to know.
It's so funny. The business card, typically, it has the royal icing recipe on it. They use it as a coaster for the wine glass.
That's so
Makes
funny.
sense.
Okay, so class comes to an end. We finished this step. People are chit-chatting and talking. So I ended up saying, guys, congratulations. You did a fantastic job. And that wraps up your cookie class, as a way to end it, because they wanted to chit-chat, to be like, oh, what does yours look like? Everything like that. We needed to pack up the trays. So their cookies on trays. Our great thing that we do in every class is, before class starts, we'll actually put the boxes together. So we'll uncorrugate them. So
these
they're
are
now
the to-go boxes where they can put their cookies.
Yes. So regardless if you're having a grand time, I'm going to hand you this box, and it's going to be in front of you and the person you're talking to.
This concludes our relationship. So Corrie passes around the boxes. However, they don't seem to be as responsive as we wanted.
Usually that allows people to get up and leave. These people knew Mary. They knew Mary's house.
I have all my thing, turning out the lights, saying my little phrases. And then I usually use this when the venue needs its space back, but I can't do this in this location. So there's really, truly no way to get people to move. So I decided to come up with this grand idea. Can we take a group photo, which I know they'd want?
So what it did, fantastic idea. It brought everyone out from behind the table. They were no longer seated.
But boy, did it just take so long, man.
It did. One thing Mary had, and it's a Mary thing, and I don't think anyone but Mary could do that. She had this bell.
Oh, that was genius.
That she was ringing.
Really, this distraction had been pervasive long before we entered the room.
So when we wanted someone to get attention, Mary, when she was ready to serve her chili, rang this very obnoxious bell saying, dinner time, dinner time. So I was like, oh, I see the bell. I said, so-and-so, ring the bell and get their attention.
It was a genius idea.
And everyone stopped, and she's like, they're trying to take a group photo. Okay, everyone leaves the table. Okay, that's all we really needed, was them to leave the table, because now we have to clean up. That's a part of the whole thing.
Once they left the table, we were set.
Oh, Heather took the photo and I got to work.
Except for, and spank me for not doing this, I needed a trash bag.
Yes.
I did not bring one.
And Mary, so everyone's thanking Mary for a great time.
She's living in La Vida Loca.
Yeah. And Heather's pulling her out. Can we have a trash bag? And fortunately, we didn't bring our own trash bags. And Mary, nice as pie, it wasn't like trying to hold her trash bag.
She was just finishing her conversations.
She was just very busy.
That were never ending.
So what we're doing is stacking now.
I really hate having to ask somebody repeatedly for something. It's frustrating for them. It's frustrating for me. However, we were a slave to cleaning this up. So I needed the trash bag. And by the third time I asked her, she's a little frustrated. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
And I know. And I hate to have people experience with me a negative emotion. And it only showed me that I probably needed to have handled this a little bit more. So my bad.
Yeah. So Mary wanted to live on her graced hostess with the mostest high, and we're pulling her out. But all we need is just one trash bag, and we will be out of Mary's hair. As soon as we got the trash bag in hand, me and Heather are working. That was a great part about having two people. Somebody wanted to talk to us. They're like, "Are you in marketing and sales? You guys are talking."
I call it throwing a life jacket. So, okay, if you see somebody is getting their ear talked off, which is great. You want that person to have a great experience, but there's no natural way for the person like Corrie to end the conversation. I would do, hey guys, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I've actually blocked the driveway and people can't get around me. Corrie, would you mind? And I create that break.
Yeah. So if Heather's being talked to, I'll be like, Heather, do you know where you put my one box?
Shoot, let me go get that for you.
So it's just, and me and Heather have built that rapport over the time. The thing is, people want to talk, and we want them to talk, but at the end of the day, we've got to get home.
Corrie, and if you guys, this is just like a side. Corrie believes that no one at any point in their life should be grabbing their phone to reveal an image, because she says time passes differently for a person trying to find a photo than the people waiting to see.
I've been on the other end of people revealing photos to me for many years now. The time you finding a photo, you're in the thick of it.
You're going to see the brain. They're like, okay, when was that? Scroll. That was a fun day.
But I'm standing there staring at you thinking. And that's a lot of time passing on my side.
And time goes money. So so you can kind of say to somebody like, hey, while you find that picture, Corrie, would you mind helping me? Okay. And that's just how you guys want to handle customer interactions. Then we packed up everything. I tried to put the room back to where it was because I had moved a lot of the trinkets around to give myself a little more space. This one I hated. I didn't have space. We decided to leave the trash bag for Mary. Probably should have taken it, but woulda, shoulda, coulda.
The problem is Mary was talking. It would have been the fourth time pulling her out for the gosh darn trash bag.
So we said, we cleaned up everything. We put the room back to the
way
it was.
We could have taken it with us. I'll be honest. It wouldn't have been an issue. The thing is, Mary was very nice, and it would not have put Mary out.
Right. I wish I could have had a conversation with her about it, but we weren't able to.
Yeah.
And final, Corrie goes up and says, Mary, I just want to let you know we're headed out. We got everything cleaned up. I'll send you an email with your pictures, which I never promised. They really did want them, though.
Yeah.
So that helped a little bit. And she was like, we'll definitely be doing this again.
Yes.
Okay, great. I think she enjoyed the experience.
I think she did.
Everyone said they enjoyed the experience, even the people who didn't like their cookies. Said, and I always do this joke, guys, at the worst case, you don't like your cookies, go eat them outside. We'll never tell anybody what happened here.
How long over did we stay? If we were there.
We got home at 8:45.
So if we're there for typically an hour and a half.
We were there for 2.5 hours with setup.
Wow. Okay, so setup, I don't even ding Mary for because we gave an hour setup.
Corrie and I did that on purpose because we don't typically teach in private venues, so I want to have a little...
and we used every single second of it.
Corrie, I'm trying to smile. I'm like, hey, we're having a little bit of issue with the document camera. And Corey's like, you think you can get it fixed? I said, not really sure. I'll let you know.
But I know Heather's like, Corrie, this gosh darn document camera, I can't get it. And I'm like... And I want to be like, this piece of poo, why do we even have it?
The wildest part is, usually if I'm frustrated, I want it to be on my face. Yeah. But the camera, the problem is the document, I'm trying to tell my computer, don't look at my webcam, look at the document camera. It was like, no, we're going to show your face.
Yeah, every time it was Heather's face and she was just more.
I don't even want to see this. I don't even like selfie mode on my phone, let alone now it's selfie mode, but everybody can see my screen.
Yeah. The great thing I will say that Heather parked her car. We would have been there a lot longer if Heather would have been blocked in.
In fact, I said, Corrie, I'm going to keep making loops to ensure I'm not locked in here.
So I want to say it was good to not be the first person there and have our car blocked in, because now if you think time is money, we've been there an additional 30 minutes than we were supposed to. It could have been an additional 45, or we would have made Mary look bad. Hey, can the police on behind me move?
Right.
And pulled someone out of it. At the end of the day, Mary is the client. Mary looking her best and feeling her best means we could have a repeat Mary client.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay, let's say Mary calls again. Are you bringing a TV?
Now that I know, I would bring a TV there.
And I had thrown in the bag an extension cord, although I did find a plug. Obviously, didn't. I ended up holding the laptop. It has a good battery charge. It's in her laptop, so I was able to hold that around. A lot of people referenced that, so I would actually walk it around. And then secondary, a lot of people wanted that little plasticky.
We thought
display.
Because so one person, if we had the TV, would not have been able to see the PowerPoint at all. They would have been in front of it, honestly.
Which happens in a table that's circular.
But for 9 people to have a better outcome. Would have been worse,
the sacrifice.
But we would have given the other person, like, maybe put the file right in front of them.
If Mary called us back again, I wouldn't have you decorate.
I would not decorate.
I would not bring
there was not a good
camera.
space for that.
I would bring the TV and I would connect the computer to the TV.
Yes.
I do like having that reference point, and I like how much larger the screen would make it.
Yeah. We'd need less setup time now because we know.
Yes.
And
what would you do differently?
I would have had Mary, I need access to the bell, because getting them into their seats took extra time.
Question. If we did this at somebody else's house, would you bring
I might bring a bell.
I don't hate it either.
Or you might need to bring something that makes your voice project more. Something like that.
Something for me, for sure.
Yeah. So I would say,
talk deeper.
I want to say, for people who make icing just enough for the class and nothing is left over, people were doing weird things with their icing. So if I'm like, there's only 3 ounces of the white icing and you did some random design, most time in the classes that we teach, people want to follow directly what we've done. This class, they were Wild Wild West. Like, I'm going to make my turkey have a mustache. Okay. That's not built into my icing amounts.
Right.
So
yes,
you would have run out of
your
that.
Icing amounts, or and this is kind of what I do. I always find if you say problems before they're problems, they're not problems.
Yeah.
So I'll say, hey guys, this is your class. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to take you through this curriculum that you have enough icing for. If you choose to use your icing in your piping practice sheet, your turkey may be pink, and that's okay.
I have a bone to pick with you.
Okay, why?
Because on our Halloween class, the candy corn is done incorrectly in the class. But you said, if you want your candy corn to look good, switch the colors. Yeah. But the color was less. But I had already put an extra.
You were very close to it.
I don't want to go into
in the 2025 October cookie class kit. There's a candy corn, which has the 3 colors.
Yes.
It's reversed than what
it's supposed to be white, orange, yellow. And it was white, yellow, orange.
Okay, and nobody would have noticed until I thought it was funny to mention it. And then everyone wanted to be biblically accurate.
And they're like, we want to do it right.
Corn.
But I was like, oh, did I have enough icing in their bags? I did. So would you change anything? What would you do?
I would have brought a TV for sure.
Yeah.
I would have never messed with technology I hadn't had a lot of experience with.
Yeah.
I would not have had you decorate at all.
Knowing the space, absolutely.
It was pointless.
Yeah.
It was great to eat them on the drive home. But
that was about it. It was a waste. No, not one person. At the end of the day, the reason why I do like to decorate in class is anyone who wants to say to me, I think you made my icing consistency wrong. I didn't. Right. You're not a good decorator.
They're new.
So what I like to do is decorate with the same icing they're using, so you can be like, oh, look.
To give a little context what Corrie, the bullies, just said right there. Sometimes in the past, we've had classes where Corrie hasn't decorated and somebody wants success too much on the first round. So instead of saying, I'm new to this hobby, they'll say, you've done this wrong, which puts us in a bad light because it's inferring, make this right.
And it's hard to be like, no, you're bad. The icing's great. So me decorating class takes that whole, I think you did this wrong out because I'm decorating with the same icing you're decorating. So I like to say, listen, you're going to see my cookies. I've been doing this
time in the saddle
every single day for 5 years.
I will say it's just time in the saddle, repeating, taking it home, trying it, practice. And that kind of gets ahead of those problems.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was such a pervasive issue in classes a couple of years ago that I said, hey guys, I added it to our PowerPoint. I said, one thing the royal icing knows if you want it too much. And it actually acts funny if you want to be too good today. So be relaxed. You're new here. This is the first or second time you're doing this. The more relaxed you are, the more your icing is going to work with you and not against you.
I like to liken it to the Ross effect. When you go into a Ross's and you're looking for a black shirt, you won't find it.
And it knows you want it.
But if you go in there and you're not looking for a black shirt, you'll find 10. So if you want your icing to act a certain way, it knows that. It's good.
So that kind of helps get in front of people's angst when you set the stage that they're not going to be great. And if they compare themselves to Corrie, that's what it would look like if you stayed in with this.
But I didn't need to honestly decorate for that. And I just do it so people don't say, well, the class would have been better if my icing consistency was better.
I'm very happy we carpooled.
Absolutely.
That was necessary.
So I stopped by. Heather's loaded her car up with everything that was in my car.
I'm very happy we got there a little earlier. Yes. I initially said I thought that was too early. If it was still too early, but
it was. I made putting the cookies on the thing take longer to give you pivo time.
Imagine now. We tried our best. So I thought everything was pretty good. I think I'd have just a little bit more. It's not our first private class. However, the other private class, the most recent one, was to 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's a little different energy there.
Yeah.
I did not expect the host sets the tone for the whole thing. I didn't expect Mary to be the one who was distracting.
I thought she would have been mostly involved into it because it was her idea, but she was the one who broke the concentration often.
Right. Well, she's the hostess, and I kind of got that through the email, so I think the correspondence kind of set the stage. It's like she's not replying to everything here.
Yes.
Would I do it again? Would I do it again for Mary? I'd probably do it again for the podcast.
Yeah.
I told Corrie I always prefer that other venue where I have a lot more control. I think I could have still sold out that class. However, it's great to know this is a money-generating option.
Yes.
That doesn't require a venue fee. It doesn't require marketing.
And also, the venue, we only have access to it on Saturdays. That's the only time it's closed. This class was on a Thursday evening.
Thursday at 6.
So, do you see it? We've now opened our ability to make so much more money during a week where we wouldn't have been able to with a venue. A lot of times you'll find bakers be like, I have the venue for 8 hours on a Saturday. That's a lot of work on you, the baker, to teach straight, an 8-hour day because you don't want the venue. One, the venue only allows you that day. But if you were going to spread it out and be like, I'm going to prep for this week and the next week, I have a class on Tuesday, I have a class on Thursday, and then I have 2 classes on Saturday. It's a lot more doable instead of doing 3 classes on Saturday and be like, I'm beat. I couldn't possibly teach.
We used to run it that way.
Yes.
It's exhausting. But yeah, this was a very good test of the emergency alert system. I was happy with it.
I thought it was great.
She was very excited.
Yeah.
I took photos of people decorating as we always do, because Corrie and I said content's king. So I'll include some of those in the newsletter.
And just like we do, we invited them to our private sugar cookie classes group where we could potentially remarket to these people again.
Always interesting. We get one out of a group, and we got one out of a group.
No, we got two.
Oh, we got two.
Yeah.
Great. And then I posted their pictures there and on our Facebook page.
So even more content, which is fantastic.
Remarket. Because you always got to think the photos I take here would be great to tell somebody, here's what our private classes would look like.
Yeah. I do want to say, though, if you teach your first private class and you hated it, I wouldn't necessarily put that on your Facebook page because you're telling people I'm open to private classes.
Right.
So if you want to market it, that's a fantastic. Otherwise, you could just keep it, send it to Mary and be like, okay, that was one and done. I'll never do that again.
So market what you want.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty interesting. We did leave later than I wanted to. I felt like they felt like, oh, these twins are rushing out of here. I was.
Yeah.
I want to get to bed.
But we had been there over the time promised.
Yes. So I would probably actually tell you and I internally to factor in another hour of time.
And then you would price your tickets accordingly because that is a lot of extra time. And if time is money and you're not charging for the time, you are taking a loss. So where you're like, well, I charged $85 a ticket, but it took you an hour extra to get out of there. Well, you didn't. You actually only made $70 a ticket.
Because you got to think, well, there's no venue cost, but there's a time cost.
Yes.
So something to keep in mind. Glad we went with the cookie class kits. I'm glad we said this is what you can pick from this set. Really did save a lot of the guesswork out of it.
The great thing about the class kits is there's only 4 icing colors at all times.
Yes.
And they are all beginner friendly, so they're all flood consistency.
Corrie and I, big thing, if the customer doesn't feel successful at the end of the class, the likelihood of them coming back is lower. That's why you see the class kits use the loose flood icing and have simple designs. That was always the mantra, because if they said, oh, I'm so close to figuring this out, we'd likely see them again.
So that was great just for prep work. The 6 cookies, the 6 cookie cutters, the 4 icing colors, they were all beginner friendly. And
we sold only one DIY kit. I think I could have sold more if I tried.
Honestly, probably. But it's good to know that people who are there for Mary aren't necessarily there to be good at decorating
It definitely changed the goal here.
Yeah.
It was a bonding experience, not a hobby learning something.
You could tell somebody who felt really good. She was like, came to me after. She was like, so how long does it take for these cookies to actually dry? Like, you liked it. And that was Beth. She had come and she wondered. But you had other people who were like, I'm eating these outside. Mine are ugly.
Someone said, can I take Corrie's? And I said, no. We got to be eating those outside as well. So, if that helps you guys kind of get in front of this so you can kind of pre-think your own private classes, I think private classes are a huge money generator. I think cookie classes are a huge money generator. I think it's a great way to do lead gen because halfway through every class, someone says, I get why you charge so much now.
Yes.
And then, you could be training. You had Christina say that she finds that some people come to her class become her competition. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I find that very little in our experience.
Very, very few and far between.
We also live in a really popular
There's a ton of people here.
There's a ton of work.
I also say set expectations. If we wanted to, we could have set a better expectation about time with Mary. But we did say to Mary, like, listen, if you don't have this many people, we will not be teaching the class. Mary, at any given time, we don't want Mary to look bad because Mary will not be taking the onus on her. She will be putting it on us.
I wonder, and I'd have to go back through Eventbrite. It didn't factor this in when we said that. To cancel a class and process a refund, one of the ladies had accidentally in two different times bought 2 tickets. So she needed to refund one. She could actually have requested that herself, but I went in and did it for her. However, Eventbrite kept the fee.
So it would have been good.
Okay, what if we had to cancel the class? Who's losing out on those fees? Or does Eventbrite say if the class isn't going, nobody's
So I want to say if Mary paid her lump sum, it would have been easy to refund just Mary. But I would, as an end user, be upset that Mary couldn't fill the class. So now I'm taking a $5 hit.
So something to keep in mind. Had I known if Mary only had 2 tickets sold, then it would have been less cost.
Absolutely.
We're going to refund every ticket.
And we did tell Mary as she went, here's how many tickets that you've sold. So Mary knew what to expect.
Something I saw put a light in people's face. They said, can we get the recipes? Which we actually send Corrie's recipes at the end of every class. And I said, you'll get the recipes. You'll get a shopping list of a lot of the tools we've used here. And I saw them do little happy dances.
Yes. Yeah.
What they will probably never use that stuff. But the fact that it got included with the class ticket seemed to excite them a lot.
I think it did. Also, if you wanted to, you could set up an Amazon storefront and have an associated link. That'd be a way, not saying people are buying you out of Scribes. Scribes are like $2, but that link could also give you a affiliate.
I'm wondering next year if we teach these classes to not call the DIY kit that, to call it a take-home class set.
Or to say,
branding.
Could you do it in a way like, I want to be better kit, practice kit.
Practice kit.
Something
I think
like that.
DIY kit is throwing people off.
DIY is not a good term because you have to explain do it yourself. And we're like,
Yes.
oh, DIYers, unless you're on HGTV, the word DIY isn't necessarily huge.
Maybe duplicate kit.
Duplicate's weird. I would say practice kit.
Take home practice kit.
And then that makes sense because now you get a practice kit.
I think that's better branding for what that is, even though it is a DIY kit.
It is a DIY kit. But I think trying to explain a DIY versus a practice in the realm of cookie classes, a practice kit
I think it
makes
should
sense.
be rebranded. So I'll probably try that differently.
So I think it was fantastic. You're welcome, guys. Me and Heather went kicking and screaming. Screaming and kicking.
But okay, $85 a ticket, one DIY kit. We're clearing about almost $900. You got your, time cost. I'm going to tell you a net $900, easy way to make it. The cookies looked pretty bad, but nobody cares because it's their cookies. It wasn't your work they're writing a review of. And our goal is to just have people have a good experience.
Yeah, have a good experience. It was so funny. Someone clocked me and Heather and said, "Are you guys in marketing and sales?" We're like, "You got it, girl."
Would you want to buy a watch? Yeah, it was a very interesting experience for sure.
Yeah.
And you guys are welcome. My Pain and Suffering is your podcast.
My little crumply hands that are so tired from making icing bags are yours.
My losing this very squeaky voice for yapping a straight 2 hours. You're welcome. So that takes us through that. If you guys have any questions, you're free to ask in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group on Facebook. I think it is a great thing to add to your repertoire if you don't mind going to people's homes.
Yes. Yeah. It was great. It was good to know. Good to learn.
Was it great or was it good?
It was good. Goodly great. Now I could be great at my own home.
I'm grateful it's done.
So moving us on, the Vendy Blendy's coming up.
Vendy Blendy is coming up. We're only 16 days away. It feels like the year. Someone said, and I may have said this on last week's podcast, that October acted like it owed somebody money running through here.
That's hilarious.
Right. So November is following suit. Can you believe it is already the 11th?
No, don't tell me that. I needed to go slow.
It says 3 weeks until the Vendy Blendy. It was actually the 1 week is the week of the Vendy. I don't understand countdowns. It clearly is lost on me. However, the Vendy Blendy is just 16 days away.
How many vendors do we have currently?
61 vendors.
That's Heather told me.
62 vendors.
Heather told me her making or breaking number was something lower. But her
60.
I feel good. No.
50.
50 was your make it or break it. Your I feel good number was 60.
Yeah, you got to have goals, and they have to be somewhat realistic. So I like to come up with a few. 30 is we're cancel. If it's under 30, we're going to cancel it. That's what the rule has been.
You guys have said you don't want a Vendy Blendy.
You guys are tired of it. I said at 50, I'd be strong. Anything over 60 is my icing on the cake.
So when Heather said 60 came in, I said, "See, you doubter."
This is a great metric. You got to pick the right metric. We've done podcasts on finding the metric that actually reveals what success is.
Saying I want 1 million vendors. Not going to happen.
That would actually be unsuccessful. Last year we had 82 vendies, and the fee. And I said to Corrie, while that it could be an interesting metric to grade this off of, if that was a successful one, I don't think it's the one by which success is measured, because you can have too many of something and it's not a good thing.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
You can have too few of something.
Just like when someone goes to a farmer's market, you can have too many of the tomato guy, and then you're like, I don't know which one to choose.
The limitation, the analysis process. So I said to Corrie, instead of last year's metric, I was like, how many vendies can we get?
Yeah.
Then I saw what that looked like in translation. So now I said I would like a really strong,
well-rounded
group of shops that have staying power.
Yeah.
Great. So we reached that. Now I need you pendies to get in the group.
Listen, Linda, if you're listening to this and your bun isn't pending,
why aren't you pending?
Don't make me find you. Don't make me find you and sign you up to pend. Now the vendors have done their job. They have signed up. Now it's my pendy's job to come into the group, click on the group join link, and join. You don't even have to answer the questions. The questions, never heard of. Just
join
request
your
to join.
Profile page thing hybrid.
I want to tell you, and you're like, well, I'll join the day before. I'm going to tell you.
Please don't.
The way that we market the vendor blender, the Vendy Blendy each year, is by tracking these numbers. So when I go to the vendor next year and be like, this time last year we had 4,000 pendies, it is more of a attractive way to get them to sign up. You wait until the last second does not.
You're
help
not doing
me.
us any favors. We charge you nothing in hopes that you pendy. So please pendy.
And Heather's doing giveaways for pendies all the time.
In fact,
For the next 16 days.
I've got some money to be spent.
And she's going to spend it, my friends, but it's going to be on people pending. Let me
It's going to
tell
be on
you.
people pending. And you know what? The less you pen, the more aggressive my contest gets.
And the more Heather will turn against you non-pendies and turn into a big old pender.
I will be the bender. Yeah. So anyways, it's true. We're obviously doing great in the numbers. I just am Grady.
Heather wants, unfortunately, Heather's personality, she wants it to be the numbers the day before. She's a tracker. Let me tell you, she's tracking.
That's how you got an hour.
But she wants it to know, just like she wants in control of a cookie class.
I want it to all be done 3
Yeah.
weeks before it needs to be done. So anyways, we got a ton of lists of vendies. Again, you can find all this information at sugarcookiemarketing.com/Vendy Blendy. I've actually also included the Facebook Lives I've been teaching. I've added them to our YouTube channel.
When is your next Facebook Live?
It'll be on Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Nice. In where?
The Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. And the next day it'll be uploaded to the YouTube channel and the Sugar Cookie Marketing page. And also the website, sugarcookiemarketing.com/Vendy Blendy.
If Heather's your favorite twin, what a great way to show your favorite twin status by tuning into her Facebook Live and commenting some questions.
But maybe, if you're like, I don't even really like her, which is fine. I understand where you're coming from. Maybe you could also win an Americolor gel food coloring set that I gave away on the last Facebook Live.
Listen,
and I'll be giving away on
you
this
would have
Facebook
only
Live.
known that if you would have listened to this and tuned in there.
I'll tell you, Heather Kimball Berkshire, actually, guess I like this. I came up with this right before the Facebook Live,
Yes.
how to choose a winner. So I said in the next slide, we'll reveal a set of 5 emojis you've typically seen me use. Whoever in the chat posts one of those emojis wins.
Oh, that's the first person to do it.
Yeah, because you have to know.
hilarious.
She gets the sparkle because I use the sparkle as italics.
Your AI using Sparkle.
I do like sparkles. Anyway, so the 2025 Vendy Blendy is all systems go. We've got 16 days, a lot of content. Corey and I.
A lot of vendors. A lot of great vendors.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a blast. A lot of great door prizes. It's funny because the door prizes were such a hit last year. The vendors, albeit we have fewer than last year by design, the door prize total
is higher.
Yeah, because everyone said that was a blast.
Yeah.
And they have shown up and shown out. I'm starting to get the vendies to up their ante.
I see that.
They're coming.
Heather's
they're
causing
coming.
chaos. Heather will cause chaos every day till the Vendy Monday. I'm taking it like a bag in the wind behind you.
I think my counterpoint to being type A is chaos.
Is
Like sometimes
this?
I'm like too organized.
Yeah.
Let's see what
Then you're
happens when we light on fire.
Crazy.
Yeah, so all your questions are answered, but if you guys have more questions, I'm happy to answer them. Corey, someone said maybe this post will get deleted. It won't.
It won't.
I want you guys
We're in
to
it.
bring your questions, comments, and
From now to November 28th, all questions go.
and
November
after that,
29th,
you'll never
delete.
hear it mentioned.
If you're curious and you're just hearing the word the Vendy Blendy for the first time, it is a 1-day sale on November 28th from midnight to midnight. And your favorite, let me tell you, your favorite vendors in the baking realm are coming to you with 25% off or more that entire day. And you're like, well, you know what? I have everything I need. I don't need to buy anything. You want to get in there because the door prizes are over $12,000 and there's no purchase necessary to win those.
As someone asked, they said, they asked me this morning, just to clarify, are you saying I don't have to do anything for this?
Your body
You have
just
to
needs
do
to be
one
in
thing,
there.
Bendy.
Yeah.
You have to request to join that group on Facebook. And I promise you what happens that day is a blast. Everyone really likes it.
If you're saying pendy, you will pend for that group till November 28th. So all you need to do is just make sure that your body is in the request to join the Vendy Blendy (Sugar Cookie Marketing Facebook group. And you can just search that up. You can also find it on the website, sugarcookiemarketing.com/Vendy Blendy. You can also see who's a current vendor there. The deals will only last for 24 hours.
In fact, I tell the vendors, I don't want to see a deal lasting any longer.
Yeah. Yeah. But the giveaways, you have to be there to get them, but they're so great. I think we did 10 Bosches last year. Insanity. Throughout the whole day. So if you were sleeping, you might have forgotten that Bosch. You said someone else awake. You take that. You could tune in throughout the day and win all day long. What Heather does in the midnight hours when my little baby head is asleep on a pillow, I don't know. And I also can't tell her no because I'm asleep.
Yeah, she tries to. Corey's like, no, don't do that. Okay, you
Heather
stay awake if you don't want me to.
You just say things to get me to shut up, but you do the exact opposite.
I say, if you really cared, you'd be awake.
But
by
I'm
now.
so tired.
Okay. I'm
so
tired too. And we got to run them. I
I
love what happens after 11 Eastern Standard Time in the Vendy Blendy.
It is. It is. Do you have a Cookie College person that you would like to highlight?
Let me
fill that out.
do
If you
that.
didn't know, the Cookie College is a membership. It's actually, if you wanted to become a more efficient, better baker and make more profit, you would join the Cookie College. You'll never guess. The Cookie College will be at the Vendy Blendy as a vendor, so you can get it for a discounted
Cookie
price.
College people who want a discount, people who are thinking about signing up, I'm fighting this girl for your honor.
And you know what? I have to be wine to nine, so take me to a good place for lunch. The Cookie College is a monthly membership. It's always being added to. You can find the cookie class kits there, the digital downloads, the $2 transfer club is there. Anything that we add, the Cookie College gets. But we wanted to say, I can say how much I love the Cookie College, and I'm biased because I made it. So we had people actually fill out a form, and they do get a little, what do they get if they fill out the form? $10 Amazon gift card?
$10 Amazon gift card, which I've honored. So if you guys have heard this texted, check your...
Yes. Yeah, check your little folder. But we had them fill out, and we didn't say you have to make good comments or else we'll ban you from the college. We said just fill it out with however you'd like, and we'll feature you on the podcast. So this is ours for this week.
Jenny, this is you. In answering the question, if you had to write a 3-sentence statement about the Cookie College, what'd you write? She said, I love the Cookie College. It's honestly a bit overwhelming, but I do love that I can do it on my own timeline. I've learned so much, and I continue to implement pieces of it into my cookie journey. She's been in since the 2024 Vendy Blendy, which means she's been in for a year. Her most used aspects of it are the Facebook group and the courses. And then she said, what's the biggest aspect it's helped you with? And she said, social media.
Social media. The reason why is there's a copy course in the college. With so many people using AI, the ability to sound different and unique in a world of AI, sparkles, and prompts is now the most useful it's ever been. What we want to do is teach you in the Cookie College how to be yourself, have your own brand voice, so that when someone scrolls up on your post, they stop because of the way that you posted. So we don't just want this regurgitated AI and it's da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, we want your brand voice, because people are buying, they can buy sugar cookies from anyone. People buy from you because of you. And that's what we have to have you convey in your social media, in your website, in your newsletters, and your comments and things like that. So that's very nice.
Thank you, Jenny. I'll send you your $10 Amazon gift card. That said, she's been in since the 2024 Vendy Blendy, and it's because she got a great deal. So if you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence about it, I would definitely swing by the Vendy Blendy group on Black Friday.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to love it.
Snaggle it.
If you look at how we market things like the Vendy Blendy and you say, I wish I knew how to do that, this is how we do that.
Yeah.
And it covers a lot.
It covers a lot.
Authenticity, marketing, copy. I have to work on a class this week. They wanted to know how to do picture in a picture.
Yeah. Picture in a picture. The one thing that I love about me and Heather, everything.
Go on.
My hair, my lips. The one thing I love about me and Heather is we practice what we preach. So I'm not telling you.
No, I got to give you compliments that one.
I will
Corrie
make us.
forces my hand.
I will.
Corrie said, we can't tell people what to do if we're not doing it ourselves. You get your butt to this private course.
How can I tell you how to deal with an irate custom order client if I've not dealt with my own irate custom order client? So I will take custom orders every single week of the year because I can't tell you how to market it. I can't tell you if the economy's pushing back, if people aren't buying, unless I'm experiencing myself. I can't tell you how to teach a cookie class if I'm not teaching them myself. It is important to me to practice what I preach. It's important to me to, when you look at me, that I have an answer that I've learned through trial and error myself, where I'm not saying, well, if this was me and if I taught classes. No, I've taught classes. Here's what I did in that scenario.
And here's how I mess it up. And here's how I do it differently. And here's what I do if I was you. And here's, let's strategize together how your unique situation is actually solvable.
Yeah. So that's my goal, is to always be able to practice what I preach. So when you come to me with a question, I can give you an exact answer.
Corrie
of how
is very heck bent on making sure.
I think it's because if I've seen like people like sell courses and I'm like, do they sell just courses, or are they actually doing what they say and made a course from that? Are they selling what they're selling?
Corrie, make sure we're blood, sweat, and tears before Mom say I did it. Let's go on to this new segment. Your favorite post in the cookie group this week.
Do you have yours pulled up?
I'm working on it, but you definitely told me you had one yesterday.
I have it, and I actually did a fantastic thing on my phone.
You're doing a lot.
I'm just loving
you're
myself.
impressing yourself a lot.
In my phone, and people who bake, we take our photos, we're taking our kids' photos, we're screenshotting ideas. All that is misorganized in our phones. And you end up having 10,000 photos. But where's that idea you had last year that you said, if I could just remember it, I'd implement it? I'm making every photo on my phone go into a folder.
Very nice. Oh, very nice.
It's going to folder.
That's
so what I did was able to take all my screenshots over the years and put them in a single folder. Easy to snag. Okay, here's mine. If you haven't upgraded or signed up for the Cookie College, tonight is the night. This was actually 1 year ago.
Okay.
I just upgraded from the Better Business Bureau. What is it?
Baker's Business Basics.
Baker's Business Basics to a full-on college, and they couldn't have made it any easier. Don't miss out. Just think of how many cookies or treats you will have to make to cover the difference in price, and you won't have to push to get you going. Thank you, ladies. One and all, I really appreciate each of you. Happy Friday night. Now I have to go finish putting away my Christmas so I can work on my cookie business without distraction.
I love that.
Thank you.
This is the one I'm going to pick this week. Had one of the highest engagement in the last week, right? And the interesting thing is it's not necessarily the post itself, but it is per the concept of today's topic where great is the enemy of good.
Okay.
And sometimes because we know what it should be, we get in our own way of what it's good enough. So Allison, Allyson, she said, I sent off this order with a customer's husband for their son's 3rd birthday. When I was working on them last night, I realized I only had the number 2 cutter, not the number 3. So there was no time to rebake. So I just did my best to flip it and make it work. So it's the shape of
I actually saw it. I can't honestly see, if only because I'm a baker, did I know that was a 3 cutter. If I would not have been a baker, I would, I would just know whatever it was a 2 cutter with the word 3 on it. Yeah, I couldn't have told that if
So she says, I'm sweating it out right now. I'm worried that it's painfully obvious. This customer lives 40 minutes away, so I've got about 30 minutes before I might hear if they're upset. Do I get ahead of this with a refund? I asked my mom if she thought it was obvious. I was covering a mistake, and she didn't hesitate to say yes. Okay, so we have the baker, and they're in their own head. And I like that because we always want to get in front of problems, like I said in the podcast.
Anticipating an issue was half the battle.
I want to let you guys know who's listening. What you're thinking it looks like, it looks 1,000 times better. As a non-baker, I cannot tell what her problem. I could not tell that was supposed to be a 2.
Yeah.
I thought it was an aesthetic backdrop. And all the comments agree that, hey, this is not worth the refund. I can't see the problem. There's a ton of effort in this and there's no problem on our end. So because good enough, in a perfect world, we'd be perfect. We're not perfect. Because good enough is the enemy, or great is the enemy of good enough. I'm going to say, I love that she was there ready to handle it, but we were able to talk her off the ledge. It was actually a great set.
What she also did, a lot of people come to the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group not looking for feedback, but looking for validation.
Because the thing has already happened.
So she actually sent the cookies out, and she wasn't saying, she could have made a post like this. I sent this. I ran out of time. I had the number 2 or 3. It looked different. When she got home, the customer was irate, but this is honestly what you look like. What should I do?
Essentially, tell me I'm right. I've already told them I'm not offering it.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm right. Tell me the customer's wrong. Make me feel better about the decision I've already made.
It's hard to be wrong.
It's hard to be wrong. It sucks.
She put herself in the line of fire for people to say, you know what? You missed the mark here. I would get in front of it. Thank goodness she did not miss the mark. It actually looked fantastic. She did a great job, but she cared enough about her business to get in front of the issues so that in case something bad happened, she was prepared versus being reactionary and then wanting people to just validate you. You already have the answer that you want, and it's not going to be one that is going against what you say.
Corrie and I were actually strategizing about that this morning, is that not everything needs an immediate response, right? So she has time. And that's a good question. Do I get in front of that? There's problems where you need to state that there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's problems where it's not a problem unless the other person decides it's a problem. Yeah. But we're talking about not everything necessarily needs the immediate response, immediate reply. So even if the customer has a problem, give it, breathe. What I see happens is the baker's really upset. I put my time, sweat, tears, effort in this. The client's upset, so now I'm upset. So I've accidentally escalated this, and now
I've already sent my reply. Unfortunately, it's sent out into the airwaves. Please validate my reply because it's already been sent.
We can't get the reply back out of the internet. Yeah. So what it does, if you're like, ooh, I don't feel like I can feel when I'm writing something from the wrong headspace. You can say to yourself, I'm writing this from the wrong headspace. And Corrie said to me, what's 30 minutes? What's 1 hour?
Unless we were brain surgeons, which we're not.
Thank goodness.
30 minutes would matter. But we're not.
We're not. So give yourself some time to say, is what I'm about to write going to enhance my business and the customer's experience? Or is it going to impede a solution? Right?
One time me and Heather had this client.
Who? Mouth. Okay.
And Heather posted.
I love how you're mouthing. You can hear the word.
Heather posted a post. I want to say, was it either 20 minutes before or 2 minutes after that it needed to go up? And she called as if the sky was falling. She had escalated it, not realizing whether it was 2 minutes too soon or 20 minutes after the fact. Nothing in the world would change. She's freaking out. So Heather was able to say, girlfriend,
I didn't say it that way, but
it's going to go up. We had to adjust a few things that you wanted in the post to tag these people. Facebook is rendering the video. It'll go up.
I'm listening to a book and we'll talk about it on the podcast later, but it's like, it's not about right or wrong. It's about emotions.
Yes.
And everyone's emotions are right to them. It doesn't mean they're right.
Yeah.
But they want their emotions to be validated in their experience.
Yeah, because if you dismiss somebody, now not only do I feel invalidated, I'm going to come at you so you understand where
I now have to prove. Yeah. And we always say, if you really want to prove that Baker's wrong, just say that there's a hair in the thing. That's the worst case.
That's what it always gets down to.
Yeah. So, that was very interesting. Anyways, being proactive to problems, but realizing that sometimes we're our own worst enemies.
Yeah.
And you guys are actually doing a lot better than you think. Maybe to another baker, they could see that. Maybe to your mom. And I think it was helpful that she asked her mom. I always call Corrie like, hey, here's what I want to say. I know it's wrong. Talk me off the ledge.
And I can't see purple. So I'm like, people who see purple, is this close?
Yeah. So I think these Facebook groups are great for that, to kind of getting in front of. So
getting in front of.
That's my favorite post of the week.
Now we are going to the STL me about it. And let me tell you, I'm an STL girl right now.
Okay, but this is very funny. This is my favorite part of the podcast. Listen. Here's another life lesson. You can't please everybody.
You can't. My friends, you cannot.
I think pizza's delicious. There's people who don't like pizza.
I think Papa John's is great, but someone's going to like Pizza Hut over it.
But instead of letting Corrie pick the winner, I decided I want to pick the winner. And I think it's so funny. From Statesboro, Georgia, we got a text today, and it is one word. And you are the winner of the Baking It Down, STL Me About It segment. So if you want to text in to Heather or email in to Heather at sugarcookiemarketing.com.
We know you're listening.
Yeah. And I appreciate the listen. And I appreciate the honest feedback because all they texted is one word, and it's the word boring.
Boring.
And I love that so much.
Not even a capital B. A lowercase.
It was like, this is boring.
But you are, my friend, the winner.
And not even like in a like satirical way, although it is. I think it's just hilarious. And I love that this isn't a great fit for you.
Yeah.
But you took your time to text
And
in.
if you're still listening, you have won 1 month free of Cookie Design Labs. What Cookie Design Labs is, now that I'm an STL girl.
Singular, not plural there in lab.
Cookie Design Lab. It's just a singular lab. There's one lab where cookies are designed.
I want to tell you, Corrie will be opening her Cookie Design Lab account. That they she's Corrie. Did I tell you guys on the last podcast? I did set up the printer.
You did.
And then, but Corey's little feverish hands are yesterday I woke up and I was like, print success. Girl, let it rip.
I love.
Corey's actually purchasing from, I think you're printing from the Sprinkle Library, printing from Etsy as well.
Etsy as well.
Okay. So now she will want to make her own cutters.
Yeah.
From like, I don't know what her client's inspo is. And she'll do that with Cookie Design Lab, which is a STL software. It's very, very quick and easy. Did I demonstrate it for you though?
You have not.
I will. And so you, Statesboro, Georgia, I hope this is more interesting this week. Thank you so much for texting.
I'm going to tell you, Statesboro.
Give me a giggle.
What you did was I came with a lot of energy today.
She did.
Kept it concise.
It was thank you
right off the bat for the feedback. And I started it with my son to add a little rush.
And it cost me $10. So
yeah, $10. But thank you, Statesboro, for keeping us on our toes. Appreciate ya.
Okay, last week's winner is already registered for Cookie Design Lab.
Nice.
She wanted to gift to somebody else. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 folks who can also win. So it'll be 2 STL winners this week. Number one.
Nah.
You've got fan. She actually just texted, or West Virginia just texted this in an hour ago. Hi to my favorite twins from your neighbor in those beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains. I love West Virginia. She's from Heart Eyes Emoji. With all the excitement of the Vendy Blendy and this being my second year and actually getting to participate a little bit, I'm curious what vendor you're each loving to see come back year after year with new products. And which vendor you secretly would wish would jump back into the game because their products were amazing. And if you could only shop one shop, which would it be? Thanks for sharing all these secrets to success and being amazing.
Okay, what's the first question?
My first one is, which shop are you excited to see coming back year after year with new products?
Year after year. Okay, with new products. So that's a double one.
It seems like they had to be a returning vendor, but they have also had to offer something new.
Okay, I told Heather this. Sugar Dash Co.
Sugar Dash
is
Co.
a huge Etsy shop of cookie cutters. If you have a random idea, they probably made it into a cookie cutter.
You did say that they have lots of selection.
Yeah, they have a ton of selection. So any random, like I actually had to do music notes this past week for a cake pop band.
You were struggling with that.
I was struggling with that, but they had the music notes, which made it easy to incorporate that into this very hard set for my brain.
I like
Do you have an answer to yours?
Yeah, and I hate to go back to this one since we just talked about them. Cookie Design Lab added a bunch of new features. Their first year was last year, and I do like the new features that they've added this year. So
nice.
They're coming back again. There's so many great. It's hard to pick one of these.
It's hard.
Some of these shops are new. Cookie Cutters by Nori. She's the vibe. I love all my vendors, right?
Yeah.
But there's some that just give me a little bit of elbow room.
She also has perforated baking
I didn't
mats,
realize she had so much more things.
piping bags.
Yeah.
Tons of cutter options. And I want to say she has STL files as well.
Yeah, she's the vibe. She said, girls, I want to give away a $150 gift card to get people to join to Pendy. So,
yeah.
And then yesterday, she's like, maybe she even said, hey, let's open up to whatever you guys want. You don't even have to have them just be Pendy.
That's hilarious.
So I do like Cookie Cutter. I love them all, though. I love all these people. I'm curious which vendor you would secretly wish would jump back into the game because their products were amazing.
I'm going to be honest. All the ones that I loved are back. So I'm very happy with who has come back. So I can't say that someone's dropped us. Oh, here's one. She actually doesn't make them anymore. And there's no way she could be back because she actually took a nursing job. But
I know what you're going to say. The scribe lady?
Yeah, the scribes. There was these very fancy scribes that she, the sugar cookie dealer, had made. Yes. And she was in the vendability for a few years, a fan fave. She can't come back for the fact that she doesn't make them anymore. But I really loved to collect those. They were very, very pretty. And she had a lot of themes.
I'm going to say that I would have liked Kibbers to come back. And she, in fact, it said she wanted to. I just can't get her to check her emails.
That's all
But
right.
I did like those 3D printed options.
Yeah.
So it's not just STLs. And we actually have a new shop this year that's also offering
Rebecca Bivens, right?
Rebecca Bivens, and it's crafting fixation. So I still got my fixations,
Yes.
but I did like Kibbers.
Yeah.
That's whose boo-boo sticks I print off her
You're right. You're right.
And if it could only be one shop, and if you could only shop one shop, which one would it be? Now, this is interesting because Corrie already shopped all these shops. So she has all the stuff. But if you could only buy one, I'm going to tell you this because you hear it, I say it on the podcast. The backdrops by the Backers Co.
Yeah.
Because I know that photos would level up a business so greatly.
Yeah.
I'd probably say if I could only shop one shop, I'd buy those. Corrie has them, so I don't have to.
I know. Okay. I am loving the ability to do STL files.
Clearly you are. So you like the
if I could
libraries.
shop now at a library, I want to tell you that Liz Viz, who also is a vendor this year,
a new vendor,
created the viral barista Starbucks cup into a cookie cutter.
That.
She was so fast on it. So fast so that I was fast on it, and I was able to make that into a cookie, and it actually gave me page followers, which is fantastic from my local groups because I marketed it in those local foodie groups, and I couldn't have done that without her hard work. One,
these are great answers,
two,
and these are great questions.
Yeah,
questions, West Virginia, our little cousin.
Yeah, so STL files, whoever's got them, I'm going to be looking.
Okay, West Virginia, email me at heather@sugarcookiemarketing.com. You and Statesboro both won the STL Me About It segment. Thanks to Ashley Garza for passing that
Thank
along.
you, Ash. She's a vibe too.
Yeah, she actually gifted it to Carla Sandoval.
Yeah.
And Carla said actually already bought it last year.
Oh, that's no way. That's crazy.
So, yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that was fun. Thank you guys for being so gracious to each other. I love that for everybody. And you guys are both winners. If you guys want to text into the STL Me About It segment and get 15% off, you can do it at 571-556-5644. However, if you say I don't like contest, you can get off more at the vending machine.
Yes.
25%
Get
off.
off more was crazy. Way to say that. Get a bigger
I'm
discount.
tripping over my
Yeah,
words here. Need to hire Archer to come and speak for me again.
All right, moving on to, if you don't want to risk selling out, you can actually partake in our podcast sponsors right now. A lot of them have, and I want to tell you, a lot of people have sent me boxes to feature the Vending Blending. They all came in yesterday.
Oh, shoot. I was telling him nobody
My
sent
bad, my bad. They all did.
Okay, because I was wondering, because Corrie we offer this, instead of having vendors have to pay for UGC content, organic content, or user-generated, that's fine. That's our little
falling apart here.
smurl. I am. Too many noises. I'm a type A. I feel like I'm back in teaching the class and Mary's offering cookies.
But give us the rundown and tell us what you could get now, or if you want to risk it for the biscuit and wait.
Cookie Design Lab, 15% off now, code TWINS, 25% off at the vending.
I want to say they probably will not run out since they are software-based.
But very cool software.
Yeah.
Baking Me Crazy, 10% off now, code favorite twin. 25% off during the vending.
Yeah, but that is sprinkles for DIY kits, colors, things like that.
Royal Batch Bakety Bake by Bakety Bake, 10% off now, code TWINS, 25% off at the vending blending.
Is she sold out now? Because someone was like, hopefully she fills out before that. I don't
Were they
know.
talking about glaze?
It could have been. I don't know.
Okay, let me see, because I don't think that girl would have signed up.
Royal Batch doesn't necessarily offer 24% off hardly at all.
Ooh, the 5 pounds are out of stock.
Yeah.
The 1 pounder in stock, which I'll have to, it's up to her if she hasn't been.
I know what that is. Pinteresting. You might be risking it for the biscuit if you eat it.
I know. So you could get that off 10% right now, code TWINS. Daisy Make Twins 10 get you 10% off. However, 25% off the vending blending.
Yeah, and those are molds that are just fantastic, and now they're very much themed.
Very cool.
Yeah.
They're niche themes too.
Niche themes. So like I saw wedding. They had definitely a Halloween one, Thanksgiving. They've done a great job.
Eddie printer, not on sale, not a Vendy. Not discounted at all, but an edible direct-to-food printer. Corrie, someone was asking about Eddie, the printer, to you, and you said you use it about once a week.
I try to use it once a week. It's great for, do not recall the last time I've turned my airbrush on.
Because Eddie has filled in nickel. Now, not cheap at all, $3,000. You can buy used Eddies, not in their Facebook group, but I think it's called Unofficial Eddie Group. You can find them there for sale. And it's a great time when you can kind of get a baker to come off. You save about, what I see on average, you save about $1,000 to $1,200.
Yeah, but if you're like, I don't know what they put their Eddie through and you want a brand new one.
Absolutely. You can also get a refurbished one, I think, if you call.
Yes.
Something to keep
in
mind.
They have a payment planish kind of thing now.
It's not you pay an interest, so you're definitely paying more, but you can pay over time.
Yeah.
So a lot of options there. And then Bosch Nutrimill is not a sponsor, but they are an affiliate. If you use code Sugar Cookies, you get $20. They just actually told me what their Black Friday deal was. Not allowed to tell you the discounts, but I can tell you when it starts.
Oh, nice.
November 20th to December 5th.
Okay, so November 20th, we'll post that in the group so you can just know.
Yes.
I love my boys. Love my boys. I actually sold a KitchenAid for my boys.
You did?
Yeah.
You did.
I did.
We'll be giving away one of those. They've donated towards the Vendy Bunny. They did that last year. I like them. And then if you use code Sugar Cookies, even during Black Friday, it will stack those discounts. So you'll be able to get even more off that way.
Do you have a Twinterest as we wrap this bad boy up?
Oh, if you guys were wondering how my dinner went,
fantastic. Delish.
Unlike the last time I did it last year, they put us around a smaller circle table, and I love that a lot better. It made for better conversation.
It honestly faced everyone, so the conversations never let up. It never died because even though Heather's boyfriend who was there, Brian, is not a talker.
He's a quiet guy.
He's a quiet guy. And I was actually face to Brian, so I was able to like shoot one liner zingers right off
whispered to him. I said, you need to fire back. She's getting too comfortable. You need to fire back quickly.
So it was great to have everyone around the circle so you could like lob a question at everybody, and it just really kept it going.
I really liked it. Who's blowing up our Instagram? I see it. So sorry to bother you.
Yeah, it's the fake accounts that are getting at us.
I have noticed a ton of uptick in spam messages. That is specifically about Meta Blue Check.
It's saying now, instead of saying, if you click this, you violated something, you have to click this to prove it. What it's actually doing now is saying, hey, you've been approved for Meta Verified. Click this. It's still a spam, but it's now a positive spam.
I know.
But it's still a scam.
But that's also being pushed a lot by Meta as well. I'm also getting, so once my personal profile, which is set up to be a creator profile, is that what they call it?
Yes.
To get the blue check.
Yes.
Meta sent me a message in my inbox on Facebook about it.
See, so maybe they're seeing
I think that's type of
absolutely.
It's kind of crazy all of
that.
But I was really happy with how my dinner went. The food fantastic. The service was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was definitely more on the ball last year, but I really still enjoyed the experience again this year. And you just can't tell. If you're a steak girl, Capital Grill is owned by Seasons 52 and Olive Garden. Delectable.
Whatever Darden, who owns them all, is doing over there with their food processing, delicious.
Thanks, Darden.
Has me in a chokehold.
Olive Garden is a whole different experience in Season 52, owned by the same company. Love both sets.
Love both sets. I guess one of the orders I made last week for my twin twist was for my sister, older sister, moved into a new house, and she wanted her welcome to the neighborhood and being my neighbor to be these little boxes of cookies. And it turned out great.
And Corrie got a lot of praise and honor from the neighbors and my sister. Our mom is a carder.
A carder. So she makes cards.
Cards, right.
She doesn't deal them. She's not at the slots and casinos.
She also doesn't even sell them. But she and Corrie partnered to make a cookie of a red truck.
I made a cookie of a red truck. And what she did was made a basket of apple card that very much went with the vintage red truck.
Yeah. So with their powers combined, Ashley's the best neighbor.
Yes. She is the best neighbor.
She would be a great neighbor.
Let me tell you, making your clients look good makes you look good. So people are like, did you put your business card on there? No. At the end of the day, Ashley needs to look good. I don't need to make more sales through Ashley. Mm-hmm. If they now have Ashley's phone number, when they ask her, who made those amazing cookies? I can't get the taste into my mouth.
And then some people, your cottage laws allow you and require you to, which is a great fall guy for like putting your own logos on it. Right. But it turned out really cute.
Did. That was my twin twist. I made too many cookies last week. Tired.
This is Corrie. I was like, this is a busy week.
I didn't know.
And Corrie said, the reason why is because I thought there was an extra week in November and I was shoving everything into 2 weeks when in reality it was all in the same. You kookadoo. Look at a ruler
I only have
for measurements. Look at a calendar for dates.
To my calendar 24/7 at the tip of my fingers, which I am always on.
I can't see the calendar. That's the first thing I see on my face.
What I am realizing now for bakers who are trying to stay strict on their boundaries, the customers are going around the boundaries to see if they can't slip
This is Corrie's issue. We create the walls to protect our time and our boundaries. And Corrie will let them see. So what happens when you say, hey, I'm fully booked? You're going to have someone say, I know you're fully booked, but whether or not you take that order, it's completely up to you. It's your business. However, if you're going to hate yourself while baking that order, you have violated your own boundary.
I was telling Heather earlier, boundaries are crystal clear when we make them. If you do this, then this. Unfortunately, the people who try to break the boundaries know that a crystal clear one. So what they're saying is, you made my cookies for my mom last year. I already see what you're doing. You're connecting with me. Mm-hmm. You're a past client.
Genius.
Yeah, so I could be like,
we have rapport.
We have rapport. So instead of being like, I'm booked, they're emailing around the form because the form is booked.
Yes.
And they're saying, you did this for my mom last year.
Can we do this again?
Yes. She really, really loved it. So it's never clear.
You did not disappointing client, you're disappointing mom.
Yeah, it's never quite as clear. So you're going to have people that go around your boundaries. Hey, do you mind to just make 2 cookies for the PTA? Yeah. And 2 cookies, in essence, isn't going to put you out.
You have, but we said, the boundaries are there to protect your options.
Yeah.
If you want to take it, take it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But no.
You will be also baking it. If you take it, you got to bake
it. Taking and baking. Taking and baking. Thank you guys
for listening
for tuning into this boring podcast.
And she said, I'm not offended at all. I think that was so funny. It actually made me giggle at lunch, and then I had to call Corrie and we giggled.
I said that was hilarious.
And we even said, are they even wrong?
And listen, we know it can be boring. Me and Heather are boring people. So we are trying to incorporate new things in the podcast.
Thank you. Keep the
so stay tuned, Miss Georgia. We are trying to bring new things to your ear holes.
Make it maybe just a little less boring each week.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, let me go pay up my debt.
Go pay the $10.
$10.